Very good. Okay. So if I could ask everyone to put yourselves on mute as well, then that would be great, just in case there's unusual background noise. So welcome everybody to the first Sovereign Circle of 2023. So welcome to everybody. For those of you that have joined us in the past, the format today is going to be very similar to what we've done previously. So welcome to some really familiar faces. And for our one new person so far, welcome to you. Lovely to see you here as always, Sanya. And the format is very simple. The format is very easy and light. So you'll pick it up very quickly. I have absolutely no doubt. So what we're doing in these sessions is we are bringing together archetypes and embodiment so that we can explore our patterns and raise awareness of our patterns, and then also use the archetypes to stretch our range so that we can have more choice and freedom about how we respond to life's situations. And the archetypes really simply are models, or a model of our patterns or what's possible in our patterns. And that by embodying those archetypes, we can really allow ourselves to explore that range, which is really important. And the thing about archetypes is that they are universal themes that are across cultures and throughout time. So we know that there are these behaviors that we can really get into, and that they can really serve us in that respect. And the reason that we use embodiment is simply so that rather than just having an intellectual understanding of things, which I'm sure you can appreciate doesn't always help, the embodiment gives us a real kind of gets it into our bones, and so that we can really understand and have an experience of those archetypes so that it can really serve us and give us that freedom that we want to talk about. So you all know me, I'm David, and I'm going to be running the session with Thea. Do you want to say hello, Thea?
Hi everybody, it's lovely to be back. I've missed this time. I've missed this connection with the archetypes and embodiment and all of you. So looking forward to a really lovely development of the work we do together over the next few months.
Yeah, fantastic. Great. And both of us are life coaches, and I was working out, I think between the two of us, we've probably got about 40 years experience in coaching and facilitation and teaching. So it feels really good to be able to be sharing that work with all of you, and those of you that are listening to the recording, of course. So what we're going to be looking at today, very, very simply, is going back to the basics of sovereign embodiment, and also exploring what happens to us in our sovereign embodiment when we connect with other people. So we're going to be using the circle as a way of looking at us being in our embodiment when we're in relationship, and also how we can bring that embodiment into the circle so that we can bring all of ourselves to that and we can create a synergy. So that's what we're going to be exploring today. Anything on that I've missed there, Thea, or is that all good? Because I know sometimes you add a little something that sprinkles fairy dust.
Yeah, nothing much, but like working with that idea that we are whole as people, that we don't need anything, there's nothing missing and there's nothing wrong, that all of who we are has a part to play in being who we are, and that we're also quite often a bit more than what we think we are. And so the sovereign, that sense of that whole, the sovereign embodiment for me really represents that and puts me in that state from which I can respond much better to other people than if I'm in some of my other patterns of behavior in groups. So we're going to explore how that feels in groups and practice the skill of adjusting quickly back into sovereign so that we can get better outcomes or different outcomes when we relate with one another.
Beautiful. Great. Thank you for that fairy dust. That's beautiful. So before we get into any more of the practical stuff, let's just take a moment to arrive. So I invite you to sit back in your chair. Close your eyes if you want to, or have your eyes open if you want to. Feel your bum on the seat, feel your back maybe supported by the chair, feel your feet on the floor. And simply taking a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, take a big sigh and relax your body. Let the tension go as much as you can and relax in. And then take another deep breath. And again, sighing so that you can relax. Great. And then taking a moment to, in the chat, just in 3 words or less, how are you arriving on our call today? So I'm feeling a little bit nervous because I'm in front of everybody. It's been a while since I've done this. I'm feeling a bit forgetful because I've forgotten some of the things that I wanted to say. And I'm feeling excited to be here. What else is showing up on our call today? Tired, curious, and relaxed. Curious, hopeful, and reflective. I just love it how we hold all these different things. It's what it means to be whole. Great to connect, a bit ill and curious. Yeah. Great. I'm having hot flushes. Yeah, tired, excited, and curious as well. Fantastic. Great. So everything is welcome. But please also know that you kind of one of the things that we hold in our sovereign circle is this idea that we are fully responsible for ourselves. So self-care is the most important thing. So if there's anything that we invite you to do here that you don't feel like you want to do, then please don't do that. Everything that we offer today is an invitation. That's one of our kind of foundation rules. The other thing is that please keep what it is that we share here confidentially. Yes, it's being recorded, but if you can anonymize anything, if you share it, then that would obviously maintains confidentiality. And then the last thing is that we will be inviting people to share either in the chat or to unmute yourselves. So we invite people to be witnesses, to listen with your ears and also with your body, but not to give any advice. So that's sort of 3 or 4 guidelines that we like to follow to keep everything safe for absolutely everybody. And the final thing that I wanted just to share as well, which we'll be doing every time, is that these sessions are by donation. So please do consider donating. It does allow us to put this work out there and share this work with people, either no cost to them or at low cost to them. So if you feel like you get a lot out of it, if you feel like it's real of value, then please do consider doing that. And Thea has just put the link for that in the chat. So thank you for that. So let us get going into this exploration that we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to start the process by inviting everybody to come and stand if you want. You can sit as well if you prefer. And I'm going to take you through the sovereign embodiment. And then I'm going to hand over to Thea, and Thea's going to take us a stage further into this idea of maintaining our embodiment as we move into relationship with people. So please, looks like you've all come and stood already, so that's wonderful. And as you're standing, allowing to have your feet about shoulder width apart and allowing your arms to relax down by your side. Keeping your eyes open so you have a soft gaze in front of you. And bringing your attention to your feet and allowing your awareness to scan through your body, up your legs to your waist, and then the belly and the front of the body, up to the chest and the lower back and upper back. Allow your awareness to scan through your shoulders and your arms and your neck and your head. Using that awareness to balance your body so that your weight is evenly distributed across your feet, that your legs are like pillars that really support your pelvis, that your shoulders are directly over your hips so that your spine is upright and relaxed, and that your head is balanced on the top of your spine. And then allowing the core muscles of the body to relax around the forehead and the eyes, the jaw and the tongue. Feeling the weight dropping and relaxing even further in the chest and the belly, and allowing your pelvis to relax as well. And also relaxing the legs and the feet so that you can feel all the weight drop down right into the floor. And maybe feeling the floor push you back up. But if you can't feel that, then maybe imagine that so that you feel connected to the floor, but you also feel this length in your body so that you feel upright and dignified in your spine. And if you want to use your imagination, you can think of yourself as wearing a crown on your head and a long cloak that rolls down your shoulders and onto the floor and trailing behind you. And if you want to, you can spend a little time walking around the space that you're in, imagining that you're still wearing the crown and the cloak, feeling dignified, feeling upright, feeling regal, feeling in your sovereignty, and feeling the sensations of being in your sovereignty with this embodiment. And then I'm going to hand over to Thea, who's going to take you through the next part of our exercise. And please just stay in your sovereignty as you do that.
Yeah, holding yourself in this sovereign stance. Thank you, David. Keep moving if you want to, or you can come to a standing position again. And noticing a few thoughts about what it is to be sovereign. Imagine you've got this embodiment of the king, the queen, the sovereign within you. What does that mean to you? What are the qualities of the sovereign? Bringing those ideas alive within you. No need to share them. We'll share them afterwards. Get a sense of pride in myself, of confidence, of an ability to be here in my own energy, in my own space. When you have a sense of that, of whatever sovereign means to you, and you have that in your own body, if you've been moving, then I invite you to come back to the screen. And take a moment to notice the group. You're in your sovereign stance, you're in your sovereign embodiment, and you're part of a group today. So if you bring your attention to the other people on the screen, notice for a minute that your attention is on them, and therefore their attention is on you. And how does that feel in your body? What are you doing in your body as that attention shifts from just being you to being we? From me to we. What's changing? Is there any sense of a difference? Is there any sense of wanting to pull back a bit? Or maybe wanting to push in? Noticing in your own body what comes up as you feel yourself in a group dynamic, and give that an expression in your body. It's interesting. Normally I would step into something like this, but I'm actually feeling a bit of a collapse, a bit of a lack of confidence coming as I feel the group, and my belly is folding a bit, and I'm a little bit back on my heels, a bit less stable. So notice anything that you're feeling about being in a group and give that reflection in your body. Show it as a response in any way that works for you. And then enhance it a little bit more, like give it another 20%. If you really kept following this, where would that take you in terms of relating? I'm backing away here. See ya. I feel myself wanting to just back off from the group dynamic, from the attention. So notice in yourself where this would take you. What would the impact of this be in a group, in this group, if you let yourself follow it? And then when you've done that, choose to bring yourself back into sovereign. Let everything else go. Feel your feet on the floor once again. Feel that sense of building yourself up, that feeling of gently reaching up, but also of relaxing your body down to the ground. Remember that you're the sovereign. If you want to, you can also imagine just bringing all of you back into your space, reclaiming who you are. And then notice the group again from here. And from your sovereign this time, not following any reaction, but actually choosing to stay in your sovereign stance. What do you want to, how would you like to relate to the group? How would you love to relate to the group from your sovereignty? And express that in your body. In some way, an expression of how you would love from your sovereign stance to relate to this group. To connect. And once again, just notice if anything comes up in your body. As you hold this, there's a tension, and that tension might want to collapse bits of you. You might start to feel a bit uncomfortable if you've come forward, or if you're generously holding yourself out to the group. Maybe there's a bit of a pulling back again. Just notice it. Maybe follow it a little bit, and then once again, choose to breathe again, step back into that sovereign stance. If it helps to bring it back to the basics, do that before you reconnect. Then once again, if you'd like to, just take this for a little walk again. Bring your sovereign back into movement. Bringing yourself back into your own space. Gently reconnecting with you. When you're ready, come back to the screen, and from your sovereignty, offer an acknowledgement, a thank you to your group for this time we've shared together. And then join us back at the screen and we'll debrief. So if anybody would like to share some of what they experienced there, so there are different things you can share. You can share some of the qualities that you notice in sovereign. What does sovereign mean for you? What do you notice coming up for you when you're bringing that sovereign self into a group scenario? Like, what is some of your patterns that might come up that have you withdraw or maybe push in too much? If anybody would like to unmute and share, that would be great. We'd love to hear from you. Or if you'd like to share in the chat, then bearing in mind this is recorded, then please feel free to do that. Yes, Alison.
I experienced feeling very comfortable in this group in my sovereign aspect. And I love being invited to be in sovereign, and the whole experience of becoming very grounded and aligned and centered felt lovely. And I found it interesting, moving. I felt expansive, actually. It's partly I'm also in my own space where I feel comfortable, and I've got a beautiful view of a garden outside. So I feel like my sovereign realm can expand, and it's not just like a cluttered kind of live workspace. It's more than that. And what I found interesting was my arms did want to hold themselves out in a connecting fashion.
Yeah, noticed that.
And holding, and it did just happen. That's what my body wanted to do. And then when we regrouped, I found myself also wanting just to realign, almost not sticking my neck out, but sort of feel that sense of being grounded and centered, and which I think I do connect with sovereign very much. So it was a good feeling. And then later on, as we were moving around, I just found the arms even more, it wasn't a burden to hold my arms out. It felt, I felt them sort of rising and holding in a stand like a tree way from Qigong or Tai Chi. I felt that. It was a lovely experience. And I think it's because it felt that there was a connection for me anyway, with everybody here. Thank you.
That's great, Alison. Lovely to hear. I think with you, could I just reflect a little bit back to you? Would you like to hear?
Yes, please.
Because I get that you're a very generous person in your natural way of being anyway. You give to people. Could I ask, coming from sovereign, did that feel a bit more, and obviously with the comfort of this group, did that feel like a bit more of a sustainable giving than maybe it is always? Or did it feel like the giving might get tiring or too much for you?
It felt I could move in and out of it. So it felt, because I am going through a big challenge at the moment to do with my giving, and I feel like that sovereign energy helps me to feel balanced in myself, because I've got a whole lot of other stuff going on, which is serious procrastination, but it's not in every aspect of my life. And so it feels comforting and helpful. But I really, what you've fed back to me just then, that was really useful. Thank you.
Good. Beautiful. That's lovely. Thank you so much. That's very full share. We've got time for one more. I think, David, have we? We don't need to cover anything else. Sanya.
Hi, I feel like speaking a bit. I don't know anyone, and I think that impacted my belonging to the group. And so to share about the sovereign, I cannot pronounce it well. It's like, I was really surprised. David knows I had so many problems today, little problems, and suddenly being this sovereign, they didn't bother me. Somehow I was not above it, but it suddenly they seemed like, irrelevant in this pose. And then to be with the group, I love people. I'm very curious and very open. And I didn't know where other people are. There were no words spoken before. And I'm noticing I was curious, but then I was like, I don't know where people are. So that somehow impacted me. If I heard the voices, I think I would be all in. So that's my observation, which was I don't do this ever. So it's very new. Thank you. For
Beautiful
experience. Yeah.
Beautiful, Sanya. Thank you. Yes, and it's a really good reminder about the way we open the group. I mean, the time is very limited, obviously, so sometimes introductions aren't always practical, but this was a small group, so it's maybe something we could have done at the beginning. But I really love how much Sovereign has helped you let go of the complexities of your day. I mean, that's exactly what my experience of it is. What's not important, it feels like it just falls away. So it's a great way of prioritizing what actually matters. So thank you very much. Thank you for sharing, everybody. I'm going to hand back to David to round us up and take us home.
Great, how wonderful. And just to also say, you know, how wonderful for me to it feels like I'm joining two areas of my life together, because Sanya is a part of my life that doesn't have anything to do with, or much to do with, this archetypes work. So it's really lovely to have those two parts of my life coming together in this beautiful way. So thank you for taking the brave step of joining us today. So how wonderful. Thank you very much. So wonderful to be back on these 30-minute calls. And I am keen to finish on time because I know people have other commitments at 6 o'clock. So just to briefly write in the chat, what are your takeaway? What's one takeaway from the call today that you'll be taking into your evening and into the rest of your week? Just one takeaway. For me, I really noticed how in the group, I really give my sovereignty away. It's like I knew what I wanted to say at the beginning of the call, and then it just goes poof. So something to really work on for myself to be able to support me in that. Sovereign is reconnection. It doesn't matter if I'm feeling a bit ill, a sense of calm and connection as well. Yeah, absolutely wonderful. Wonderful. Great. Greta, please.
Just when we started, I felt we were all equal. We were all in our sovereign. But then I was a little bit surprised when David and Thea was kind of not feeling that comfortable, it seemed like, because I felt we were a group of equals, you know, in the beginning, and we were all inner sovereign. So I was a little bit surprised when you kind of, I'm a little bit, I don't know if
Can I very briefly talk to that, Greta?
Yeah.
So for me, I don't feel uncomfortable in this group.
Stop. There's a lot of echo. Can we mute? Can everyone mute themselves except who's speaking?
Yeah. Thanks, David. But it's about noticing any little prompts that come in my body where I could go, and then enhancing those so that I know what might come up for me in group situations. So what I was experiencing wasn't a reflection of what I feel with here in this space. It was more a kind of objective relationship with how I can be in groups, particularly if I'm not feeling quite 100% well, for example. So I wanted to be clear that that's not a reflection on you. It's a following of how my patterns can play out, and then wanting to really dig into those and, you know, find out what's happening in there.
Great. Thank you for naming that. Great. So goodbye, everybody. Thank you very much. Wonderful to see you. And we'll be here next week. Great. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Lovely to see you.
Bye.